In a previous video, we're dealing with the which we are still going to be dealing with, properties of a suite and its operations. We talked about it being croissant. We said when it is croissant, for every n appartient à n, l'ensemble n, un plus 1 supérieur ou égal à un. That's when it is in increasing order. The opposite of it is when it is in decreasing order, which you have petit n appartient à l'ensemble n, un plus 1 est inférieur ou égal à un, when it is in decreasing order. Then we say a suite is said to be monotone. It's said to be croissant ou décroissante. So it's said to be in increasing order or in decreasing order. Now a suite un is majoré par grand M, and that grand M is in real numbers. So il existe un M appartient à M tel que petit n appartient à l'ensemble n, un est inférieur ou égal à m. The same thing we applied it for when it is minoré, and we said that the suite is borné when it is at the same time majoré and minoré. That is when it has this definition. Now today we are going to continue with we are done with its properties. Now we're going to look at its operations. We're going to look at the operations of sur les suites. We've been talking about un, and it depends on how that suite is noted. Generally, we note it as un. It can be noted as vn, wn, wn. So for us to talk about the operations of a suite, we need to have two suites to work with. So in this case, we are going to work with suite un and suite vn. Operations of a suite, of sur les suites. We're going to talk about the addition of the suite, the multiplication of a suite by a constant, and then the multiplication of two suites. Now, a suite, the addition of two suites, it's like the general addition. I have un plus vn. Is a suite that all you have to do is to go about un plus vn. Tout simplement. If I have a suite like, let me say, a constant, let me call the constant a. I have a constant a, un. Of course, I'll give examples so that we'll be able to understand it better. AUN is a suite that is defined as AUN, multiplying the suite by a constant. And then if we also have two suites, UN fois VN, UN fois VN, it means we are multiplying two suites, le terme général UN fois VN. Now let's take for example, I have a suite UN UN defined as 2 raised to the power of n, lorsque n appartient à grand n, and I have a suite Vn defined as 2n, lorsque n appartient à grand n. The addition of these two suites, if I want to go for the addition of these two, we're going to work with this. If I say un plus vn, which is un plus vn, that is 2 raised to the power of n plus 2n. C'est ça l'addition de les deux suites lorsque n appartient à n. Never forget this notation. Okay? Like each time you're working, not only in suite, in the algebra as well, always remember that, tell them this is the ensemble that I'm working with. This is it, and you put it there. Soit, pour tout, il existe always try to indicate them. They are very, 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 very important. Then multiplying by a constant. Let me say if a is equal to 4, for example, and so I have AUN, which will be AUN, that's 4 times my sweet UN. So it's just as me saying 4 times, what is my UN? My UN is 2 raised to the power of n. For n appartient à n. Same thing applies for the multiplication. I have UN for Vn, that is UN for Vn, which will be equal to 2 raised to the power of n for 2n. Let's go n appartient à n. So this is let's go n appartient à n for un. Obviously, if we say 2, let's say if n is 0, cas particulier, if n is 0, if I say 2 raised to the power of 0, I'll have 1. 2 times 0, of course, is 0. So 1 times 0 will be 0. 0, which is also in n. So, yeah. So that's it for the operations of a suite and then its properties. In our next video, we'll be talking about or we'll be giving more examples about suites, like how we can prove that the suite is majoré and it's like. So see you in the next video. Thank you.